Someone thought of you last night. Not the way people think of strangers, not the passing, forgettable kind of thought that dissolves before morning. The kind that stays, the kind that follows you into waking and sits quietly in the background of your whole day and refuses to be explained away, no matter how logical you try to be about it. They don't know why. They woke up with your frequency on them and couldn't name where it came from, couldn't shake it, couldn't file it anywhere that made sense. But you know why? Because today, April 11th, something is happening in the sky that most people will move through completely unaware of. Venus and Neptune are forming one of the most spiritually precise love alignments of the entire year. And what this alignment does, among everything else it activates, is open a direct channel between souls who are meant to find each other. It dissolves the walls between what two people consciously know and what they are connected to at a level so much deeper than conscious thought that the mind can't track it. Only the body can. Most people will scroll through today, work through it, sleep through it, never knowing that the universe quiet placed their soulmate connection into active motion while they were distracted by everything that doesn't matter. You are not most people. The fact that you are here right now is already part of the signal. You didn't find this video. This reached you, and if something in you already knew today felt different before you had a single reason to think so, that knowing is the confirmation. Your connection is already in motion. Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you changes everything. Comment "My soulmate feels me" below. Not as a wish, as a statement of what is already true. Let me tell you some things about the last few days. Not general things, specific things. The kind of things you haven't said out loud to anyone because they're too quiet, too internal, too difficult to explain without sounding like you're making something out of nothing. You tell me how many of these land. There's been a feeling this week that something is on the edge of arriving. Not excitement. Something more serious than excitement. Something closer to the feeling you get in the moments before something important happens. A held breath, a quiet alertness you can't justify with anything visible in your life, but can't dismiss either. Someone has crossed your mind with unusual weight. Maybe someone you know, maybe someone you haven't met yet, but somehow sense is closer than they were. Either way, the thought doesn't feel random. It feels like a signal trying to get through on a frequency you're only just learning to hear. There's been a restlessness around love specifically, not desperation, nothing that loud, something quieter and more forward-facing than that. Like standing at a door, you can feel warmth coming through from the other side before it opens. And your dream life has been different. More vivid, more emotionally charged. You may not remember the details clearly, but the feeling upon waking stayed with you longer than dreams usually do. None of that is your imagination running away with you. All of it is Venus and Neptune already active in your field, already running the connection that your conscious mind is still catching up to. Your soul knows what is coming before your logic has been given the evidence. That is not confusion. That is the chosen one's way of receiving information. Your soulmate is not coming. They are already transmitting. And you, right now, today, are already receiving. Let me give you the real picture of what is happening in the sky today. Not the watered-down version, the actual mechanics of what is moving through your life right now. Venus is sitting at 12 degrees Taurus, her home sign, her throne, the place in the entire zodiac where she operates with maximum power, maximum magnetism, maximum capacity to draw toward her what is genuinely aligned rather than merely available. In Taurus, Venus does not chase, she does not perform, she does not bend herself into a shape that someone else finds acceptable. She becomes so completely, so unapologetically herself that what belongs to her simply cannot stay away. That is not passivity. That is the most powerful magnetic force in the universe. Neptune sits at 1 degree Aries, the planet of dissolved boundaries, of spiritual perception, of the invisible thread that connects two souls at a level so far beneath ordinary awareness that neither person can explain it rationally. They can only feel it. Neptune doesn't operate through logic. It operates through dreams, through the inexplicable pull, through the thought of someone that arrives without invitation and refuses to leave without delivering its message. The sextile between them today, a 60-degree angle of conscious activation, is not something that happens to you. It is something you participate in. A sextile places the door directly in front of you. The universe builds the conditions. You choose whether to walk through. And here is what that means in real terms. This transit does not manufacture a connection that isn't there. It makes a connection that already exists impossible to ignore. It amplifies the signal between two souls who are already tuned to each other. It clears the static that ordinary life piles on top of what the soul already knows. Your soulmate already feels you today. The only question is whether you are going to be still enough, open enough, present enough to feel them back. I want to challenge something you think you know about soulmate connections, because most people are waiting for the wrong thing entirely, and because of that, they walk right past the real thing without recognizing it. They're waiting for a feeling, the electricity, the dramatic collision, the Hollywood version where two people lock eyes across a room and the whole world goes quiet, and they both just know in a single cinematic instant. And because they're waiting for that feeling, they miss completely the actual signature of a soulmate connection, which is not intensity, it is recognition. A soulmate doesn't feel like falling, it feels like arriving, like something that was always supposed to be true, finally becoming visible, like a name you already know how to pronounce, even though you're hearing it for the first time. The body doesn't spike, it settles. The nervous system doesn't go into overdrive, it exhales. There is a quality of rightness to it that is so quiet, so unspectacular, so completely unlike what you were told to look for that most people dismiss it as ordinary and spend years chasing the dramatic version while the real thing waited patiently for them to stop running. That is what Venus sextile Neptune activates today. Not the collision. The recognition. Now I want to say something about your past. About every connection that almost worked but didn't. Every relationship that felt close but not quite right. Every person who seemed like they could be the one until the frequency didn't hold and you found yourself back where you started wondering what was wrong with you. Nothing was wrong with you. Every single one of those was your soul refusing to accept a near miss as a destination. That quiet, persistent, sometimes exhausting unwillingness to settle for something that was almost right. That was not brokenness. That was not being too difficult or too selective or too much. That was precision. That was your soul maintaining the exact frequency required to recognize what is coming, because it knew long before you did what you were actually capable of receiving. Today, Venus and Neptune reward that precision. The connection being activated right now is not wishful thinking. It is the completion of something your soul has been building toward through every experience that didn't work, including the ones that hurt most. Especially those. Now I need to tell you something important, because there is a specific way the energy of today gets misused, and it is so instinctive, so understandable, so completely human that most people don't even realize they're doing it until the portal has already closed. Here it is. The moment today's energy starts to move in you, the moment you feel that anticipation, that warmth, that quiet certainty that something real is close, your instinct is going to be to do something with it, to reach out, to act, to create a situation that forces the connection into the visible world before it has finished forming in the invisible one. And that impulse will feel like courage. It will feel like taking your destiny into your own hands. It will dress itself up as confidence, as boldness, as the universe helps those who help themselves. But it isn't any of those things. It is fear wearing the costume of action. Because Venus sextile Neptune does not operate through force. It operates through resonance, through the quiet, magnetic power of a soul that is so fully present in its own frequency that the person it's meant for cannot miss the signal. The moment you shift from that, from presence to pursuit, from receiving to chasing, you change your frequency entirely, and you cannot transmit the soulmate signal and the desperation signal simultaneously. They cancel each other out. Watch specifically for these today. The urge to reopen a conversation that has already run its course. The impulse to check whether someone is thinking of you by making yourself visible to them first. The need to manufacture evidence that the connection is real rather than simply trusting that it is. None of those are the move today. Today you are not the seeker. You are the signal. You do not chase the frequency. You become it. You get so quiet, so grounded, so completely at home in yourself that the soul already looking for you has nothing to navigate but a clear, unobstructed path straight to your door. That is the only instruction today requires. Now let's get specific, because Venus sextile Neptune doesn't speak to everyone in the same language. And the soulmate activation happening today lands differently, depending on where it hits your chart. What follows is your precise activation for April 11th, the exact dynamic being awakened in your love life right now. And the one practice that amplifies your signal today, Aries. Neptune just crossed into your sign and Venus is sending it a direct line of energy today. The soulmate frequency activating for you right now is arriving through a completely new version of yourself, one you are still becoming. The connection being sent to you is not meant for who you were. It is calibrated to who you are right now in this exact moment of becoming. Your practice today, stop introducing yourself by your past. In every interaction, let the current version of you be the one that shows up. That is the version your soulmate is looking for. Taurus. Venus is in your sign at full sovereign power today. You are the epicenter of this entire portal. The soulmate frequency moving through your first house right now is turning you into a magnet so precise that what is not aligned simply cannot stick, and what is aligned cannot stay away. Someone who already knows you is seeing you today with eyes they didn't have yesterday. Don't dismiss what feels familiar. Familiarity is sometimes recognition in disguise. Your practice today, receive a compliment without deflecting it. Let yourself be seen without immediately minimizing the moment. Gemini. The Venus-Neptune sextile activates your 12th house of hidden matters and your soul-level subconscious today. A connection forming in your life may have been living just beneath the surface of your awareness for longer than you realize. Something you sensed but didn't trust. Someone you noticed but talked yourself out of. Today, the veil between what you know and what you've been afraid to know gets thinner. Your practice today, write down the name or the feeling of whoever keeps surfacing in your mind without censoring it first. What you find there is information. Cancer. Your 11th house of soul community and 5th house of love and creative expression are both activated today. The soulmate energy moving through your chart right now suggests that your connection arrives not through dramatic circumstance, but through genuine joy. Through you doing the thing that makes you most fully yourself in the presence of others. Your practice today, go somewhere or do something today purely because it brings you alive. Your soulmate's frequency is most likely to find yours when you are most authentically in it. Theo. The Venus-Neptune sextile lights up your 10th house of public presence and your 4th house of emotional foundation today. The soulmate connection activating for you has a quality of being witnessed, of someone seeing not just the version of you that performs, but the one that exists quietly underneath all of it. Your practice today. Let one person today see something real about you that you would normally keep polished. Authenticity is your signal frequency today. Perfection is static. Virgo. Your 9th house of belief systems and 3rd house of communication are activated today. The soulmate frequency moving through your chart is arriving through conversation, through the specific quality of your mind, the way you see things, the observations you make that other people don't. Your connection is being drawn to your intelligence today specifically. Your practice today, say the interesting thing you would normally edit before it leaves your mouth, the thought you almost share and then don't. Share it. That is where your signal lives today, Libra. Venus rules your sign and she is operating at full power today, activating your 8th house of deep soul level intimacy and your 2nd house of self-worth. The soulmate activation for you right now is directly tied to one thing, whether you believe you deserve what is being sent, not whether you are ready, not whether the timing is right. whether you believe you are worth a love that doesn't require you to shrink. Your practice today: identify one standard you've been quietly compromising and quietly reinstate it. Your soulmate is calibrated to your real worth, not the reduced version. Scorpio. The Venus-Neptune sextile activates your 7th house of partnership and your 5th house of love directly today. The most personal axis in your chart for soulmate connections. What is forming right now has depth, has history, has a quality of inevitability that your soul recognizes even if your mind is still catching up. Your practice today: stop protecting yourself from the thing you actually want. The armor that kept you safe in the past is the only thing standing between you and the signal today. You are allowed to want this without defending against it simultaneously. Sagittarius. Your 6th house of daily life and 12th house of hidden realms are activated today. The soulmate connection forming for you is arriving through the most ordinary channel. A routine moment, a familiar environment, an unremarkable circumstance that turns out to be anything but. Neptune hides its most significant deliveries inside the mundane. Your practice today: be fully present in the small moments. The conversation you almost rush through, the person you almost don't really look at. Pay attention today in a way you normally don't. Your connection is inside the details. Capricorn. Venus and Neptune activate your 5th house of love and your 11th house of soul level community today. The soulmate frequency arriving for you has a quality of ease that may feel almost unfamiliar. Because the connections you've had to work hardest for have taught you to distrust what comes without friction. Your practice today: consciously release the belief that love is supposed to be difficult. What arrives easily today is not suspicious. It is aligned. Let it be simple, Aquarius. The moon has just moved through your sign carrying the energy of yesterday's Pluto conjunction, and now Venus and Neptune are activating your 4th house of emotional foundation and 10th house of life direction. The soulmate activation for you today has a quality of coming home, of a connection that doesn't just feel romantic but feels like it fits the actual shape of your life. Your practice today: imagine the specific texture of the life you want, not just the person, the life. The connection being sent to you fits that life. Hold the vision clearly and let your signal match it. Pisces. Neptune is your ruling planet, and Venus is sending it direct activation energy today. This transit runs through your chart like electricity through a live wire. Your intuitive field is at its most open. Your dream state is still transmitting from last night, and the soulmate frequency around you today is so strong, it is almost tangible. Your practice today: trust the first feeling. Not the second thought, not the rationalized version, not the one you've edited for reasonableness. The first immediate, unfiltered feeling you have about a person or a moment today. That is Neptune speaking. That is the signal. Trust it completely. Before I close, I want to take a moment, because this community has shown up recently in a way that genuinely means something to me. The comments, the shares, the messages from people telling me that these videos found them at exactly the right moment. I read those, every one of them, and I don't take a single one for granted. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, do that now. Not because of the numbers, because what we're building in this space is specifically for the person who feels everything deeply, who senses shifts before they're visible, who knows there is more available to them than what the ordinary world is offering. That is this channel. That is this community. And if that is you, you belong here. And before we go into the final part of this video, drop your zodiac sign in the comments below. I want to see who is here. I want to know which signs are being called to this message today, because the fact that you made it this far into this video is not random. And I want to acknowledge every single one of you who felt this enough to stay. Drop your sign below. Let's see who the universe gathered here today. Now, finally, let me tell you what actually happens after a Venus-Neptune sextile activates a soulmate connection. Not the romanticized version, the real one. It doesn't always arrive as a lightning bolt. It doesn't always announce itself with drama or urgency or the kind of undeniable cosmic collision that leaves no room for doubt. Sometimes, most of the time for the chosen one, It arrives quietly, as a conversation that runs longer than expected, a moment of eye contact that carries more information than any words could, a feeling of recognition so immediate and so complete that your first instinct is to dismiss it, because nothing real was ever supposed to feel this easy. Don't dismiss it. What Venus and Neptune have activated today is not a fleeting feeling. It is not a momentary elevation of romantic energy that dissolves by midnight and leaves you where you started. What has been set in motion today is structural. It is the kind of soul-level activation that doesn't reverse. It simply continues unfolding, layer by layer, in ways that become impossible to deny the further you move from this moment. Your job from here is not to chase it, not to engineer it, not to pull out your phone and try to force into the physical world something that is still completing itself in the spiritual one. Your job is to remain exactly who you have been becoming, to stay in the frequency, to trust that what is already in motion does not require your interference, only your openness. Because here is the truth that Venus sextile Neptune makes undeniable today. You are not too much. You are not too late. You are not too damaged or too guarded or too specific in what you need for a real connection to find you. You are precisely calibrated. Every experience that didn't work was removing what wasn't real. Every moment of holding your standard, when it would have been easier to lower it, was tuning your frequency to exactly the signal your soulmate is following right now. They felt you last night. They will feel you again tonight. And every day between now and the moment you are standing in front of each other, the connection deepens, the signal strengthens, the distance closes, not because you forced it, because you finally believed you deserved it. And if you're still here, still watching, I genuinely appreciate you more than you know. You didn't have to stay this long. The fact that you did tells me everything about the depth of what you are ready to receive. Don't rush what is already moving. Don't force clarity that is still forming. Don't shrink the vision to make it feel more achievable. The soulmate connection activated today is real. It is already in motion, and you, exactly as you are right now in this moment, are exactly who it is looking for.